What's up, everybody? It's your boy World CV back again with another video. If you're new, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button for more content on the daily. Now, today we talking about good old Stephen A. Smith, the face of ESPN himself. Now, the Nets, they've been kind of up and down a little bit. Kyrie Irving is officially back in town. Great to have Kyrie back. Give that man a round of applause. Nets decided to bring him back as a part-time player because of New York's current vaccine mandate, saying that if you are not fully vaccinated or even have one dose, you cannot enter any place of business in the city. Now, it doesn't apply to Long Island where I live, but that applies to the 5 boroughs of New York. I'm going to say Brooklyn, of New York. So it has been well documented that Stephen A. Smith has a problem with Kyrie Irving not taking the jab in his arm and only being eligible to play part-time road games. Now, I haven't seen Stephen A. Smith on ESPN television for almost 2 weeks. Maybe he was taking a vacation. Maybe the network owners told him, hey, lay off the Kyrie slander because we're losing viewers. So, looks like he's back. There was the Nets and the Bulls played today. And my friend was like, yo, did you see what Stephen A. Smith said about Kyrie? I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, well, he's talking shit about the man again. I'm like, what's new? I mean, this man has a personal vendetta against Kyrie that we don't know. Maybe Stephen A. just wants to continue to push his outrageous vaccine mandate because ESPN has a vaccine mandate as well. So, since he had to get the jab, he probably feels like Kyrie should get the jab because he's in the same boat. Not to mention, after Stephen A. Smith got fully vaccinated, I believe he got his booster as well, he was out on COVID. He announced it on First Take. That's why he was doing the show from home, that he tested positive for COVID, fully vaccinated. Now, I'm not trying to go into a back and forth vaccine discussion because, listen, it's like talking to morons, okay? Everybody I know who took the vax got COVID. The vaccine was supposed to stop the spread of transmission. It didn't. It seems like there's new COVID positive record-breaking cases every single day that people all of a sudden want to ignore. So, we're going to stick this to basketball and see what Stephen A. had to say this time about Kyrie Irving. So let's go and play the clip here. I'm just going to see what this guy got to say, because I feel like now they said, hey, we need you to hate on Kyrie so either our viewers could go up or we'll give you some more money. But let's see what this guy's saying right now. Let's click play.
Brian, thank you very much. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting season, and interesting is, I guess, the operative word here as we roll along. Jalen, what have we learned about this Brooklyn team since the return of Kyrie?
That they're my favorites to win the East, even with Kyrie Irving as a partial player.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because you want to know why? No, you don't need to tell me Fusion Rod, because there's only 2 reasons. Kevin Durant and James Harden. They got the 2 best basketball players, 2 top 5 best basketball, 2 out of the top 5 best basketball players on one team. Now, yes, we would like to see Kyrie be a full-time player, play road games, because if the mandate does not change and they go into the playoffs with Kyrie Irving only playing road games, you would like to have your star point guard be eligible to play road and away games. But because of those 2, they have a good chance. Now, I don't think they're going to come out the East because of Kyrie's current situation. I have the Milwaukee Bucks or the Chicago Bulls coming out the East, even though they beat the Bulls a couple nights ago. But the Bulls won the season series against them 2-1. But let's go and see what Jalen Rose has to say. I think he has somewhat of a decent, objective perspective on things when he's talking about sports. Whoa, what the hell was that?
Brian, thank you very much. It's been an interesting week.
Okay, I didn't mean to go back. Hold on, let's see what he said. All right.
Number 2, James Harden is engaged and just had a season high in assists. And number 3, when they get healthy, get Joe Harris back, to go with Patty Mills, and the shooting that I've seen from LaMarcus Aldridge this season, they're going to be a complete team. I feel like this is their opportunity to win the East.
What do you think? Stephen A. Smith is back with us as well. We're all delighted. Now, of course, you've seen him already on SportsCenter this evening. How about it, Stephen A.? What have we learned about this Brooklyn team?
Well, I'll give Jalen validation for his point. I definitely think you can't argue with it, particularly with the way that James Harden has looked, and give Jalen credit. He talked about the return of Kyrie Irving and what that would do for James Harden, and clearly he's elevated his level of play, and we can't ignore that. When he's looking like the point guard that he's capable of looking like, the Nets are absolutely lethal. But I'll tell you something else we should learn. Basketball, it ain't good for basketball.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. He couldn't even wait. He couldn't even wait to get into it. He got into it the first 10 seconds of his sentence. Let's go see what he's going to say.
You got an owner compromising his own principles and going against his initial beliefs, his original beliefs, because he's chasing wins at this particular moment in time, trying to spell for Kyrie Irving and James Harden. If you're not available for all the games, you know, in terms of you're healthy and you can play, and there's something that's compromising your willingness to be a part of these games, I'm sorry. It's not a good thing for you to just be playing games on a roll. It's not a good thing for you to wait until a playoff to get a vaccine. It's not good for you to be a part-time player. That sends a bad message. It makes the league look bad. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not one that roots against somebody of high caliber and quality like James Harden and Kevin Durant, because them brothers love to play all day, every day.
Okay. I'm going to wait to see what this guy has to say.
And especially in the case of a two-time champion like Kevin Durant, I got a lot of love and respect for him. But I think it's pretty close to impossible to root for a team that's doing this kind of stuff or celebrating this kind of nonsense. And that's where I stand with it.
Yeah, Stephen A., I'm with you on that. One thing I've learned.
So Stephen A. Smith has a problem with Kyrie Irving being a part-time player. When the news first came out that the Nets were going to make Kyrie unavailable for road games unless he becomes a full-time participant, he was calling Kyrie Irving, selfish. He decides when he wants to come up and show up not to work. Call him all the names in the book. And then it was Brooklyn's decision to bring him back. Now, people got to remember, because, you see, I love how he's trying to display this propaganda. The Brooklyn Nets do not have a vaccine mandate for their players to play at the Barclays Center. It is the city of New York that has a vaccine mandate. You cannot enter any place of business in the 5 boroughs of New York without a COVID vaccine card. When Kyrie Irving first signed with the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, part of his requirement to be a player on the roster was not to get vaccinated. I didn't think that was his requirement, unless I'm wrong. But when I go back in the record books in 2019, they weren't asking him for a vaccine to be a player for the Nets. Now, Kyrie says, no thank you. I don't want to get this vaccine, because everybody, for the most part, who has took the vaccine, has gotten COVID, still has to quarantine, still missing time from work, and still potentially affecting other people to get sick, which was the point for the vaccine to first come out and stop that from doing. Stephen A. Smith should know that his damn self. He caught COVID twice. He's fully vaccinated. He had to go home and do the show from home. Kyrie Irving has not said one thing about this whole ordeal situation. Every single damn time I'm watching First Take, I'm seeing Stephen A. Smith say something negative about Kyrie Irving. What did he say one time before? Oh, I hope the Nets cut him. That's what he said on First Take. Really? But he ain't saying nothing about that for Ben Simmons. When Ben Simmons refusing to play for the Sixers. There's no vaccine mandate at the Wells Fargo's Arena in Philadelphia. Ben Simmons saying, I don't want to play. Ben Simmons is fully healthy last time I checked. There's no injury to him last time I checked. There's no injury preventing him from playing. But he specifically told the front office, he told his teammates, I don't want to play for you guys anymore. Where's the vitriol for Ben Simmons, Stephen A.? Where's you say, hey, I hope the Sixers cut him? That's part of your contract. You're supposed to be there for your team. Yet all of a sudden, Ben Simmons wants to use an excuse like, oh, mental health illness, mental health. Now listen, mental health is a very serious thing. We should take that into consideration because a lot of people that we don't know go through mental health. But with Ben Simmons' situation, I find it extremely, extremely odd that he uses that excuse the minute he wants to leave Philadelphia. The minute he couldn't find a way to get out of Philly, to get out of his contract, he was like, wait a minute. There's a mental health clause I can use. I'm going to use that. I'm going to exploit that so I don't have to play another game at the Wells Fargo's arena. How come is that? How come Stephen A. never, ever said anything about Ben Simmons refusing, on his own will, refusing not to play for Philly? But when it comes to Kyrie, which is not Kyrie's choice because of the city New York's new rules and protocols, he has an issue with Kyrie. He says, well, Kyrie, I want you gone from the team. I want you cut. But I want to know what he said that to Kyrie Irving's face. What he said that to Kevin Durant's face, because he knows Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are like this. They're brothers. What he said that to James Harden's face about Kyrie Irving. Because I have inside information too as well. I know people who work in the Brooklyn Nets organization staff. When they made this decision to come back, who did they consult? Kevin Durant, James Harden, Steve Nash, Patty Mills, Bruce Brown. And obviously other players too as well. But the main two head of the horses was who? Kevin Durant and James Harden. Joe Tsai made the call. Says, I'm bringing back Kyrie. He is the owner of the Brooklyn Nets. He can do whatever the hell he wants because he owns the teams. He's the one who cuts the checks for the players, not Stephen A. Smith, not ESPN, not Jalen Rose, not Michael Wilbon, not Greeny, not none of those guys that you see on the screen cut the checks for the players. That's Joe Tsai. Oh, that's Joe Tsai, excuse me. I don't even pronounce his last name. So they could do whatever the hell they want. Again, Brooklyn doesn't have a vaccine mandate. It is the city of New York. To enter any place of business, they're requiring you to be fully vaccinated. Or I think it's just one dose and then you could participate. Kyrie says, no, I don't want to get it. And whatever reason why he doesn't want to get it, that's his right. That is his right. I don't have a problem with Kyrie Irving not wanting to get the vaccine because it's his body. And plus he's seeing all the crap what's going on with all these COVID positive cases of all these fully vaccinated folks. But all of a sudden they be like, well, hey, listen, I still got COVID. I gave you COVID, but at least I was vaccinated. No, you wasn't. You got COVID. You're sick. I don't want to get into the vaccine discussion because these people are going to piss me off right now. People, the ignorancy, the idiocy of our generation today, it is so mind-blowing that it's scary. It is fucking scary. Let's continue.
I'm reminded by Jalen Rose often over the last decade is performance may go up or down, okay? But willingness and effort cannot. It can't go up and down. And so that's why you look at them, you look at the personnel, and you look at them at their best, which we know we saw against the Bulls. James Harden came right out and said it after the game. Yeah, we're this good. But how often? And against how many teams and what? When they feel like it? And I just go back over my whole life covering sports. I don't care what the sport is. You can't have willingness up and down when you want to. It's could be people you say, oh, they can't turn it on, turn it off. No, they can't. And so that's why I'm still, guys, taking the field in the East. I don't know which one yet, but I'll take the field against the Nets right now. Until which...
So, hey, listen, translation, I don't know what team is coming out of the East, so I'm going to pick the field, a.k.a. the Bulls, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Heat, instead of Brooklyn. Wow, that's a great way to go with your conviction. Great prediction right there. I'm going to go with the other teams in the Eastern Conferences besides the Brooklyn has to come out the East because of Kyrie Irving's situation. Really? We want to talk about a cop-out. Like, come on. What are we doing?
Time we see the Nets come out for not one game. There was only one quarter against the Bulls. It was the third quarter. I want to see them do that for 10, 12 games. Is that asking too much of the Brooklyn Nets to play? Again, not Durant, who seems to do this all the time, no matter what.
Because he's
seems
Kevin
to be
Durant.
missing if Kevin Durant is
Because
at
he's
that
Kevin,
level.
bro.
But as a team,
Yes, because
they haven't done it.
Kevin
I wanna
Durant
see
is
that
going
before
to
I'm
Kevin Durant is going to guarantee scoring 25, 30 a night. Kevin Durant scoring is not a problem. James Harden's been having up and down. I think he's averaging like 22.5 points per game. He should be averaging like 25, 26. Obviously, Kyrie would you like Kyrie to be around like the 20 points per game margin because again, he just came back. He only played 3 games, but solid numbers, 17.5. You will like his field goal percentage to be up higher than 31%. Oh, excuse me, 30% on 3-point shooting. Okay, yeah, that's pretty okay. Maybe I'd like to see him in the high 30s, like 38, 39, but 3 games. You can't.
with them.
You can't ask more than
Go
that.
ahead.
Let's call it what it is. Just call it what it is, Will Bond. The number one reason you taking the field ahead of the Nets is because you want to. Because you find yourself rooting for somebody else because they're together and they're teams and they pride themselves in showing up every damn night that they can. That's why you want to root for them.
So
and you actually don't want Brooklyn to win. And
So hold on. What about Ben Simmons? What about Ben Simmons? What about the Sixers? I want to know, did you have this problem with Aaron Rodgers too? Did Stephen A. Smith have this problem with Aaron Rodgers? Who's unvaxxed? That's his right to be unvaxxed. I don't have a problem with him being unvaccinated. I'm not vaccinated either. So Stephen A. have a problem with me being unvaxxed too? I ain't know people who are vaccinated. I don't have a problem. Like, hey, you either chose to take the vaccine or was it mandated by your job? Okay. That's not a big deal towards me, but I didn't see him have the same vitriol towards Aaron Rodgers, who he loves. We all know Stephen A. Smith loves him some Aaron Rodgers. I didn't feel that same hate. I believe Jay Williams called him out on his BS. I didn't feel that same hate, that vitriol, that passion, the disgust that he has for Kyrie Irving that he did for Aaron Rodgers, who apparently, well, he didn't, but according to the mainstream news, he lied about his vaccination status, saying he was immunized, which he did because immunized does mean you're vaccinated, so he did lie. But he lied nonetheless. Kyrie Irving says, no, I'm not vaccinated. I don't plan on getting the vaccine. Oh, well, Kyrie Irving's a selfish teammate. He's this, he's that. He needs to be cut. But I don't hear you saying that for Aaron Rodgers, though. Like, I know you always say, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. That's Stephen A. Smith's favorite line. You probably said, yeah, he lied, but what was this vitriol, the hate? What was the disgust for Aaron Rodgers that you have for Kyrie? Let's continue.
I'm Knicks first, New York always. So I don't like going against anything New York because I'm a native New Yorker. But
No, that's a bunch of crap because you cannot say I don't like anything going against New York, but you are a well-known diehard Knicks fan. But if the Brooklyn Nets won the title, you wouldn't be happy. You were preaching for Kevin Durant to come to the Knicks. And then when he decided to go to Brooklyn because of Kyrie, you all of a sudden depressed, fake depressing on national television on First Take because you didn't get a superstar. So don't say, I'm rooting for New York all the way. No. Oh my God, man. I'm gonna watch the rest of this video because
I'm ashamed of what I'm
dude's
seeing
hilarious.
from the Brooklyn Nets. Absolutely ashamed.
Stephen A. may speak for a lot of people there. We will speak to you coming up at the top of the next hour.
He definitely does not speak for a lot of people because, number one, every time he talks about Kyrie because of Kyrie's current vaccination status, he gets a lot of shit on Twitter and the comment section on YouTube. And there's a reason why YouTube turned off their dislike button. Because you can't see how many videos get dislikes now, which I find that very, very strange and interesting. But let's continue.
7 Eastern NBA
I want to see if he
countdown.
says anything else. Then I'm
Really
going to
good
close it out.
doubleheader to follow. Right now, back to Sports Center.
Thanks, Greeny. It's time
Okay,
now for our
so that probably is it. So yeah, Stephen A. Smith does not speak for a lot. He probably speaks for a good amount, but he doesn't speak for a lot of people because, like I said again, when anytime he's talking about Kyrie Irving and Kyrie Irving's current situation with the whole vaccination, he gets a lot of backlash on social media. He gets a lot of backlash in the comment section because he comes across as forcing a propaganda, making Kyrie Irving look like a villain, making Kyrie Irving look like a selfish person, making Kyrie Irving look like a criminal. And of course, I'm not surprised because ESPN has their own vaccine mandate, saying everybody who works at ESPN, if you're in the studio, you had to be vaccinated. And then I don't know if they're mandating boosters as well. I don't know, but that's for sure that they're mandating for you to be vaccinated to work at ESPN. So obviously there's like, well, I took the jab to come to work. Why isn't Kyrie doing it? He's getting paid 10 times more millions of dollars than I am. That's not your place. You see, and this is why I have an issue with sports journalism. Because your job, obviously, yes, his job is a commentator. He's supposed to debate and give his honest opinions. But your job is also to report facts. First, you are an insider. You are a beat reporter. So you were writing news. You were not giving opinions. It's then when you got your own television shows, like, oh, this guy can talk. He could give strong opinions. Fine, well, who'll do him that? But you still have to have that journalism background to write facts and not opinions. And he has just been blatantly pushing a propaganda, pushing a narrative that a majority of people do not agree with. It's because his employer has a vaccine mandate, so he believes, well, if I took the jab just so I could continue working, that I don't know what's going to happen to me in the next, 5-10 years, that I still caught COVID, I still got other people I could still possibly expose, or I still did expose other people to get COVID. Why doesn't Kyrie Irving suffer the same thing? Like, I don't understand these people. I really don't. And again, I'm not trying to make it a whole vaccine argument, but with Kyrie Irving's situation, it's hard not to. And it's funny because, Stephen A. Smith wants to be, hey, I'm very outspoken about what I say, and I'm gonna speak for people who don't have a voice or who don't have national public awareness like I do. Okay, so remember when Stephen A. Smith said this back in July of the summer of 2021 about Shohei Ohtani, and I quote, "It's a bad thing that Ohtani is the face of baseball because he has an interpreter. In fact, he could be harming the game." So Stephen A. Smith you have a problem with Asian people being the face of baseball? That was racist. Should have got canceled. That's a fireable offense because I've seen white people get fired, rightfully so, for saying racist comments on air. That was racist to me too. That was racist. Now I know he apologized. And because of his stature and status, that he's not going to get fired because he's ESPN's high-paid employee getting paid $12 million a year to bash Kyrie Irving. But anybody else who had said that would have been fired. You don't say things like that on national television. And the fact that he gets away with some of the things that he says, it is downright disrespectful. And guys who will come at Stephen A. like Kwame Brown was right. He's like, dude, you talk bad about Kyrie. You talk bad about KD before. You talk bad about a good amount of black athletes. But then he had to apologize to a white reporter. There was a white girl, I forgot her name, that she used to work on ESPN. She had a show on Sports Nation. If you guys could help me down in the comments below. He apologized because he said something to her on national television, but yeah, he's allowed to attack T.O., Kwame, Kyrie, Sage Steele. He said something bad about Sage Steele too. There was a reason why they broke them up. But when it comes to a different skin color of a woman, oh, you gotta apologize because I can't. Now I'm not trying to say Stephen A. Smith is that C word, but he comes across like it. Because you're constantly bashing African-American athletes. But you don't have the same vitriol when it comes to white players. Aaron Rodgers ain't get that same hate. I'm trying to find this name of this reporter. But again, the Sports Nation host ain't get that same hate. Will Kane ain't get that same hate when he was on the show. Max Kellerman ain't get that same hate too. Now we all know Max is pro-vaccine and was pushing everybody was pushing everybody to do mandates, but and Max Kellerman went at him like I'm going at him. He wouldn't have attacked Max like that. Hell, he even got Max fired off the show because he thought he could carry ESPN himself. He could carry First Take himself. And their ratings have been flunking down like crazy. That's why they gotta constantly keep having guests on just to stay on par with Undisputed. Michael Irvin, JJ Redick, Marcus Spears. How you don't even know who's the official calls of the show besides Stephen A. Smith and Molly Curl? So it's just like, I'm anytime Stephen A. is talking bad about Kyrie, I just tune it off, man. It's really, really hard for me to watch shows like First Take because of stuff like that. When they're talking about a specific athlete and they leave out important details and they try to push their own narrative to their viewers to try to dehumanize somebody. I'm not with that. I can't rock with that. Now, obviously, Shannon Sharp did the same. He wished Kyrie got vaccinated, but guess what? He's like, hey, listen, that's his choice. I don't agree with it. And he said some harsh things about Kyrie Irving, too. Well, even speaking of Shannon Sharp, you could possibly say he did a couple stuff for Bucks, too, but it's definitely way, way less than what Stephen A's did. Because Shannon Sharp doesn't go on every week talking bad about Kyrie. This man does. So, and I know he wouldn't say that to Kyrie Irving's face because most of these athletes that they talk smack behind the camera and lights, but they won't say it face to face with athletes because they know most of these athletes, they will knock their ass out. It's just a shame, man. Just a shame. But that's my thoughts and opinions about Stephen A. Smith bad-mouthing Kyrie for like the 1,000th time. I mean, it's, I don't like to see brothers going up against brothers, especially when you were clearly told to push a narrative from the bosses. But again, that's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm gonna still watch. I don't really watch First Take like that because they, like I said, the ratings have been down. There's no real sports breakdown analysis. You have Stephen A. Smith screaming at other people, and then when he gets put in his place by JJ Redick, he's like, "Oh, I don't want him back on the show because he's gonna do a Max Kellerman or something." So that's all I got to say about that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow Worlds TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Everybody stay safe out there, and peace. See you guys next time.